Let's look at how stress impacts our lives. So for me, I find that stress is so brutal on my body. So I find like my shoulders are tight, my neck is tight, hips, back, my whole joints hurt. And I find that it just is obviously it's not good for your body. But I also find that like my anxiety is all up in like a roller coaster. And so you know, a lot of us are actually stressed all the time, and our bodies have become so used to it that we don't even realize that we're in that stress response or that fight or flight uh experience. And so, when what I find is like when I'm overly stressed and I'm overwhelmed, I eventually I get either sick or I'm burnt out, and then I don't want to do anything for like a week or two. And then I find that that doesn't work for my life because I'm not putting in like a self-care routine, or I'm not putting in something other than like my meditation or my journaling just to get things off my head. But I have begun to realize that I have to put in like either a day of fun, a day of relaxation where I don't do anything, or I just do things that are very calming. And then I find that, and it might only be like a few hours. It could be going for a walk on the beach. It could be taking a walk in nature, or just a walk around the block with nothing in your ears, like no sound, and just observing like what's going on around you. You just need to be in some sort of quiet or relaxation or fun just to let your body like decompress. Because if you don't do this, your body is just going to be on high alert all the time. And what I find for myself, I don't know if this is for anyone else, but I find that I store fat. And so a lot of times, no matter how much I'm working out, I'm eating clean, I am tracking my calories, my macros. Like, I find that I cannot get rid of belly fat to save my life. And I think part of it is I started to realize that even though my tests came back that my cortisol was good and within the normal range, I found that I still have all the symptoms of high cortisol. And so for me, I started trying something new. I don't know if it's actually working or not because it's only been, I think, not quite 4 weeks yet. So I started doing because I learned something about high cortisol for women. So, as soon as women wake up in the morning, our cortisol is already high. So our stress response is already there. So if I'm sitting there and I'm drinking caffeine or I'm fasting in the morning without that, then it's so automatic. My body is still in fight or flight even through my workout, where my workout's supposed to help that stress response and help calm it down. So I find that if I have, caffeine within 90 minutes of waking up, then my body is I elevate my cortisol or my stress response, if that makes sense. So yeah, what I started doing is eating within 30 minutes to an hour of waking, just anything from 15 to 30 grams of protein in the morning. And what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to calm your nervous system down and calm that high cortisol down or that stress response down so that you're not so elevated throughout the whole day. And I have talked to quite a few people. I've talked to now two different doctors about this, and they're like, oh, that's a good thing you're doing that. I was like, God, I'm like, where were the doctors? These are holistic doctors, by the way. But I'm like, where were the doctors telling us this like a long time ago? Like, I know for men, like they're always told like you need to fast, and you don't have, caffeine is early in the morning. I'm sitting there going, my body doesn't always like to fast, especially at the end of our cycle, right before we start our period. It it's awful. Like I have to have a lot of a lot more carbs than I need in the first half of my cycle. And so otherwise my hormones start just going everywhere. And so I find that, with me doing the protein in the morning, that helps. And then I go, I can have caffeine once I have that protein. And then after that, then I go work out. And so once I do all that, then I do notice I don't have to work out as long either. And so far I've only been doing 20 minutes of like jumping because I have a rebounding trampoline. I find just I put on some really good music and I just go for it. I know I need to get back into the gym and actually lift weights because of I need to build up my muscles around my hips and my back because those are very weak in my like upper back of my neck and my shoulders. Because I find that that's where a lot of my pain is. And so like I notice if I'm not taking care of my stress, then I'll actually catch myself doing this, like, with my shoulders, like, up around my neck and my head, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I'm sitting there going trying to calm it down, and I sometimes shaking it out is good, and sometimes just taking a walk and just or, taking some deep breaths, like, lots of deep breaths, like, breathe in for, 5 seconds, like, hold your breath for 5, breathe out for 7, and do this, like, over and over for, like, maybe a minute, or if you can go longer, great, but, like, just do something where you can start to, like, decompress, and then if you have too much going in on your mind, like, go get a journal and start writing everything out. Like, I swear by these journals, I swear. I didn't even buy one. I just started um, buying like, these notepads, and I started writing everything out, and then it's funny, like, every night when I do this, I'm always amazed how much writing comes out of me and how much either knowledge or wisdom comes out of me or what's triggering me throughout the day or what's going on and how I can deal with it. And so it's just like if I find that it's super calming. And then for me, every morning is before I do anything, I meditate. And I have found that doing all this stuff that I've mentioned, my stress response and my high cortisol seems to be less. I'm still trying to figure out other ways to lower my cortisol. Like I'm actually gonna be getting a test here soon to see throughout the day, like what my cortisol is at throughout the day. And so that's gonna be an interesting test. But yeah, I still find that I am stressed. And I don't know, I think that's also just pressure that I put on myself. So if you find yourself someone who's very like you need to get shit done in order to feel like you're accomplished stuff, I I relate to you so much because I do the same thing. I find like I'm like, "Oh, I need to do content today like cuz I need to stack it up or I need to get this done and that done." And then sometimes I put a lot of pressure on myself to get that done without allowing myself like a break. And so when I find I start doing that or I don't allow myself to breathe, then like I have to go take a break. So, because I find like when our stress is so high, eh, a lot of times you can't even gather your thoughts because you're so stressed out that any little thing that comes like that someone gives to you or something that goes wrong in your life or something that you weren't expecting, like you get really elevated and then you're like, I can't deal with any of this. So I find that if I start getting stressed out, let's say, or I'm resistive right before I do content, like I'll go do a meditation for like 5 to 10 minutes or just do some breathing exercise just to calm myself down to recenter myself. And this could also be, grounding, like I said, meditation. This could be like calm exercises, just like a dance, like dancing, like to some music that you love, and just getting out of your head into your body. So like if you find yourself super frazzled, like take a minute to either go for a walk, do some stretches, like um this could be just, yeah, simple walk. It could be a walk on the beach. I know not everybody has access to that with their busy schedules. But I also find that just giving yourself a minute or just walking away from what you were doing because it's causing a lot of chaos in your brain, then like it's just stepping away or or meditate or journal everything out. Because I find that every once you get it out of your head, things go a lot smoother, or you're able to just get it out, and then you're like, "Okay, what is going on here? Like, what is my body reacting to? Like, is it something somebody said, or is it something someone did, or am I judging somebody, or am I being critical of myself or someone?" Because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to achieve, but just know that, and I'm talking to myself as well, just know that, like, life is a journey. We don't have to get everything done, all the time. on the dot. Because if you don't allow yourself any breaks, you will burn out or find yourself depressed and down, and you just won't be having fun at all. Like if you find something that used to be fun and now it's a chore, then you need to come back to reality and be like, all right, am I just not creating it as fun anymore, and I'm creating it as, like, a pressure thing, like, I have to get this done? Or is this something, that you really do enjoy, So it's just coming back and just reminding yourself what's important and priorities, and, like, your family's important. So is your spouse or your significant other or your family. Like, just remember, like, those people are there for you, or maybe they're not. And, find somebody that you can talk to also. Like, if you have a mentor, that's awesome. That'd be great. Find circles of people where like they'll elevate you instead of bringing you down. Because the more you're around people that are more successful than you or always happy, you will eventually become that, or you'll eventually rise up with them, because it's just how it works normally. Because you'll see the possibilities and the opportunities, and people will be encouraging you, where there's a lot of people in this world that are like, "You're crazy for going after your singing career. You're nuts. Like, that's not gonna happen. That's so hard." Everyone's like, everyone's rough, and people are like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be doing that." It's just people are gonna say what they're gonna say, but it's knowing, like, okay, that's their shit. So, like, I'm gonna move forward with what I truly want. Because if you do what you want, you will be much happier. Also, when you're in a stressed state, like it's much easier for you to be reactive or get triggered or snap at somebody and say something you didn't mean. I know I've been there. I still deal with it, but it's just like knowing in your body that you're like, ugh, like I didn't want to say that. And a lot of times, if you did mean to say that, you can always apologize to the person. But it's like, people get triggered, and I try really hard not to get triggered, because I am now like observing like everything that I do and say, and like I'm not like I'm suppressing it. It's more like, if I do say something, I was like, "Oh, that didn't come out right." It's just you just have to have the willingness to observe it and notice it and apologize if you do say something that you didn't think was right, or you saw the person react in a way, and you're like, hey, like, sorry, I didn't mean for it to come off like that, or was there something I said, or like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, just have conversations with people, and just have the willingness to apologize or ask people, because you're not everything. People aren't gonna like everything you say. That's what I'm trying to spit out. Um, and that's okay, and that means that person's not for you. So it's like, it is what it is. And so sometimes it's just, yeah, you're realizing that, you know, you got to do your best and be yourself truly. In the comments down below, I'd love to hear from you. I would love to, like, are you stressed out? Like, is there ways I can help you? Like, what are you working on to calm your stress down? Or what things in my video, like, are you gonna try, so that maybe you can see if that works for you? Because our everyone's different, so don't take just what I say as the truth. So, but yeah, I just want you to know, like, I'm here to talk. If you like this video and you want more, like this video and subscribe to my channel, and then share my content to whoever you feel like needs this message. So because I want to impact as many people as I can. Thank you all so much for listening. I love you, and let's rise like a phoenix.